America was created on the sole purpose for its citizens to have equal rights. But today we see many inequalities and huge gaps between certain groups of people. The minority groups in America are facing many health disparities that are causing challenges in their lives that can be easily prevented. I previously taken a class called Health and Ethnicity, where we learned many different health disparities that ethnic face and why they face these challenges. It is important to be informed on these health disparities so that we can help our fellow citizens come out or prevent the health disparities that they are facing. The three main health disparities that minorities face are low socioeconomic status, low health education, and inequalities that have been experienced in health services. I am now going to give you more detail on health disparities that minorities face. Many minorities avoid health services due to not having the financials to pay for the services, and also because of their low socioeconomic status. Have you ever bought something that was less efficient but more affordable? What was the result of that product? The results weren't very good, were they? African Americans and majority of the minority groups face this challenge daily. On an article that I read by Gay Breaker, he quotes that low socioeconomic status is an important determinant of the access of health care. He then goes on to explain that many of the low socioeconomic status patients are not insured, so they avoid health services unless there is an emergency. Now let's look at the effects education has on health disparities. Minorities are affected by health disparities because of the lack of health education that they have. Just think about it like if you were in school. If you're not taught a certain subject the right way, you aren't going to be able to apply what you learned to your life. The big issue with minorities is that they cannot understand signs and symptoms to certain diseases. In an article that I read by Alvaro Carrasco, he quotes that health disparities are due to the lack of health education. He also explains that education is a health determinant, just like socioeconomic status is. Let's take a look at types of inequalities that minorities have seen in health services. Throughout history, minorities have been treated unfairly by health services. This is the reason why they face the health disparities that they do. Have you ever been mistreated by someone? Did you have a hard time trusting that person after they treated you that way? Well, African Americans have been treated unfairly throughout history as well. In the Tuskegee syphilis study, a group of African American men were injected with the syphilis disease, and then the treatment for the disease was withheld from them. In an article that I read by Norman Holothris, he explains that the underrepresentation of African American as well as minorities in certain health research and studies are due to the distrust that the African Americans gained from this syphilis study. In another article that I read by Yang Thurston, they reviewed 36 health studies, and out of the 36 health studies they reviewed, 27 of them had evidence of racism shown towards the minority group. In conclusion, health disparities can be prevented. Now that you are informed on health disparities, we can come together and help our fellow citizens come out or prevent the health disparities that they face. And how are we going to do this? We're going to do this by closing the socioeconomic status gap. We're going to do also by educating everyone as well as minorities on health education. And then we're going to make sure that everyone receives equal services in health services. Um, so as a country, we have to remember that preventing these health disparities, we can change America and create it back to the sole purpose it was created for, and that is equality.